Kylee and I am part of a generation that has been kindly dubbed the millennials, which is just a boring way of saying that we were born between the years 1980 and 2000. A not so boring fact about us millennials, though, is our rate of stress. The American Psychology Association recently revealed in a survey that millennials are the most stressed out generation on record. But don't worry, we have a very unique way of dealing with this abundant stress. A newfound art form lovingly referred to as Netflix. A video streaming service that allows individuals with stress to find relaxation in the procrastination of our obligations. I am not exempt from this phenomenon. My recent obsession is a show entitled How to Get Away with Murder. It's a fictional tale that follows an esteemed defense attorney and her law students as they navigate how to win unlikely cases while also finding themselves in a little bit of legal trouble as well. I usually justify the many hours I spend watching the show with the sentiment, it has lawyers in it, I want to be a lawyer, so really it's just research, BK. After all those hours, I decided that I would use it to my advantage. So today, instead of telling you the boring and sometimes nerdy facts about the field of law, I'm instead going to teach you how to get away with murder. In a more orthodox way, of course. I'll first start by telling you how I got away with my murders. My murder scene began in 8th grade. I had dreams of becoming a successful OBGYN. I had college plans and future goals surrounding this idea. I even went so far as to start a job shadowing experience at Mercy. I would follow around nurses, and every week I would be on a different rotation. On the 3rd week, I got my chance. I was on the labor and delivery floor, and they set me up with a nurse whose name I still can't remember. But she told me that she had a patient in active labor who was about to receive her epidural and asked if I wanted to watch. Now, I was going to be a doctor, so of course I was going to watch this epidural. I walked into the room with pride and accomplishment on my face, but that pride and accomplishment was soon replaced with a cold rag and undeniable embarrassment. I had almost fainted as soon as they took the needle out of the package. Just like that, with one fell swoop, my dreams of being an OBGYN were murdered. Weapon of choice, epidural needle. Now that the gross injustice had occurred, what was I supposed to do? I had just thrown a wrench in the organized plan that was my future. I tried to continue in the field as if nothing happened, but every time I walked into the hospital, that same feeling of nausea came to my face, and I found myself right back where I started, with the dead carcass of my life's dream just staring at me. The first step in getting away with murder is recognizing that the murder has occurred. After I came to that realization, I decided I needed a decoy dream. One to replace the dream that I had already disembodied. That decoy dream was to be a teacher. I liked kids, right? And I could definitely help them with their homework. Besides, what was the difference between loving Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter and teaching? It turns out there's a big one. And the summer before my senior year, I started to tutor an elementary school class. And let's just say the kids were not the only ones who learned something that summer. I learned something pretty important too. I don't like kids. At all. There went another dream. It seemed that I was a serial killer. And so as the body count of my aspirations began to pile up, I decided my next dream had to be my last. I considered all the things that I was good at, all the things that I really enjoyed, and I realized that I had been involved in speech debate the entirety of my high school career. And after qualifying to nationals the past summer, I had become kind of obsessed with it. If I loved it so much, why couldn't I turn it into a career? So what career does that entail? You guessed it, a lawyer. But before I could come to that final conclusion, I needed to explore the field a little bit more. That way I wouldn't have any more murders. And that's where the program that we're all gathered here to talk about today came in. I became a part of the Kickapoo University as a freshman. I've always been a high-achieving student, and I wanted to be a part of anything that could help to accelerate me further into the future. Now, besides a generous GPA and countless hours of volunteerism, the Kickapoo University program requires an internship and Capstone experience in the student's senior year, which is where I got the internship I'll talk about a little bit later. But after we take that internship class, we're also required to take a class entitled Capstone, where we put together the presentations that you're looking at tonight. I can honestly say that the Kickapoo University program, and specifically the Capstone and internship program, gave me the sense of experience and freedom that I had been searching for throughout all of high school. In fact, it's been such an invaluable and important asset to me actually deciding where I want to be. If I didn't have the Kickapoo University program, like a lot of my fellow students, I would probably still be wanting to explore a career that I didn't really enjoy. So, with the looming deadline of my internship over my head, I had to come up with where I would actually intern at. It turns out that whenever your father is a police officer, it's not that hard to find an internship with a law firm. Thus, I started the internship with the criminal defense law firm Cole & Martin in September, which is subsequently the same month that I got away with my murders. I began to become engulfed in the field of law. I did more than just file paperwork for Tyson and Ryan. They gave me their cases and asked me to build my own defense based on my observations of those cases. I got to sit on court on multiple different occasions, and frankly, I found a home in the firm. And it turns out, whenever you find new dreams to replace your old dead ones, your old dead dreams just seem to vanish. So, at this point, I hope you're wondering, does a defense attorney actually help you get away with murder? My answer to this is unfortunately, no. If you actually kill somebody, you're probably going to go to actual jail. But a defense attorney does quite a few important things. If you're innocent, they help to prove that innocence. And if you're not so innocent, they help to guide you into the path that will help you understand your punishment and put you in a place where hopefully they'll never see you again. You have to be surprisingly empathetic to be a criminal defense lawyer. You have to have a good sense of communication, obviously, but also a good cognitive compass to guide both you and your clients into a place where you can win not only their case, but hopefully win in their eventual life. So, no. Being a criminal defense attorney is not what they see. In order to actually become it, it's a lot harder than a lot of people, or a lot easier, than a lot of people assume it is. In order to be a lawyer, you don't really have to have a set major. You can major or minor whenever you want in your undergraduate experience. I personally will be majoring in philosophy with a minor in Spanish. Spanish has always been something that I've enjoyed since the second I started learning it, and it'll help to create more of a client base for me in the future. And philosophy has also been something I've always been interested in, but it also helps you do really well on the next part of becoming a lawyer, which is getting a good score on your law school admissions test or the LSAT. So, after you've had hopefully a pretty good GPA in your undergraduate experience and done fairly decent on the LSAT, you're able to actually enter law school. Spend 3 years studying for what's called the bar exam. You take that exam and you're now able to become a lawyer in your state. Becoming a lawyer when you first start out is not an easy task. You have probably a lot of debt behind you and a lot of hard work in front of you, and it's not for everybody. But I know personally, no matter how hard it's going to be, it's exactly the right place for me. So like I said, being a criminal defense attorney is not the way that they portray it on TV shows and in movies. You're not going to win your case by wrongly imprisoning your archenemy. You're probably not going to see a courtroom every day. And you're probably not going to help your clients actually get away with murder. But if you're like me, you'll be able to help yourself get past the murder of your dead dreams. So in the case of me versus my dead dreams, I grant a motion to dismiss. Case closed.